Hi, this is Jessica and Magnolia. Come here. Come here. You gotta come on this side. Come on this side. Say hi. We are going to show you how to make a minion mask. I put in a photo the things that you will need. You need yellow yarn, and you will need black yarn, white yarn for the eye, and then also a gray yarn to kind of make the eye look like it's a glass. You will also need, you can stitch a pocket in the back, like crochet a pocket in the back, and but I am going to try to make a pocket out of, I have leftover fabric from my daughter's chair that I made over the summer. You will also need scissors.
I have a princess dress.
She does. She has a princess dress.
That's like my princess chair.
Yes, just like her princess chair. You will also need 2 hooks.
That's Mommy's sitting on.
Yeah, I'm sitting on her princess chair. You will need 2 hooks. You will need, you may not need 2 hooks. The pattern just calls for an H hook, which is 5.0. But what I do, because I tend to start my crochet off really tight, a trick that I use is I start my first chain, I'm sorry, H hook is one that you use, 5.0. And I end up making everything that I crochet with, I start off with a bigger hook. So even with my sleeves, I start off with a bigger hook. So with this pattern, no ma'am, with this pattern, we are going to just use the eye hook to start off. So you'll chain 33 chains, and then I'll go ahead and I'll post the actual pattern. After that, you will, and I'll show you how to do this, you'll skip, it starts on the second hook, and you'll do 5 single crochets, 8 half double crochets, 6 double crochets, then 8 double crochet, 5 single crochet, and then chain 1, and you turn around and you do that again. You'll do that for 11 rows. And at the end, it will look like this, and you can tell the rows by, if you go like this, so that's 1 row, 2 row. So it's pretty easy to see the rows. So for the minion mask, you're going to crochet yellow for 5 rows, then crochet 1 black row, and then crochet 5 more yellow rows, and then you'll get the minion face. And you can actually do that as well with the Pokemon mask. You do the same exact pattern. Start off with white, 5 white, 1 black, 5 red. And then I'll show you at the end how to make the actual circle to put on top. Then at the end of everything, you should probably put this on first before you put anything in the back, but you just stitch this up in the back. I have regular thread. You just stitch it up. So I stitch it up so it's like a pocket. So you just stitch up the sides, and then you could stick in a paper towel inside this.
Why?
To protect you from the germs. Okay, we'll put the how to do everything up in a minute. So with this one, I started it off last night. So I went ahead and did the 33 chain, and then I start on the second hook, and I started with the 5 single crochets. So what I'm doing right now is I am doing the last 5. So I crochet funny, and this is why I don't think I can teach crochet, because I am left-handed and I had to teach myself. So, and I will show you. So this is a half crochet, half. So you put the yarn, see you have that already in there. You put the yarn over, you stick it, and I do back loops. I should have wrote that down. So you put it through the back loop, you put it over again, and you put it through here, and then you put it through all, you see how you have 3 loops on there? You put it through all 3 loops. So that's the half double crochet on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm always counting. And then I do the single crochet at the end. 1. So single crochet is, you have your yarn on the loop, then you stick it through the back loop or on the hook, and then you pull it through, and then you pull it through those 2. And this is just a single crochet. So you don't have the half double crochet, you put it on there, but the single one, you don't put it on there. You push it through the back loop, put the yarn over. I'm not even showing this to you correctly. And then like that. So if you notice, I do what they call picking. I've never been taught the correct way how to crochet, and after doing a few giveaways, I actually went to a yarn store that's no longer around, and I asked someone if they can show me how to hold the yarn correctly. So you could just kind of go like that, because you can see women do that. And someone told me, she goes, you know what, if this has been working for you, then just continue doing this. So it's been what's been working for me. So that's why it's hard for me to teach, because I don't want to teach anyone the incorrect way, because I think it's amazing if you can hold the yarn by yourself. So this is a brand new row. So back here, you'll see, oh, where is it? See how you have two different things? So you're going to just, normally you go through both of those two things like that. You're just going to go through the back loop. So you're going to do 5 single crochets. 1. And again, I'm picking 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to do the half double crochet where you pull the yarn over. Looks like I might have even missed a stitch. But that's okay. If you miss a stitch, you can always make up for it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and I should have organized my yarn before. 4, 5, 6.
Get on the chair.
Please don't fall. We cannot go to the hospital.
No, I won't.
7. 8. 8. There you go. So now with the double crochet, because I showed you the single crochet and I showed you the half double crochet. Double crochet, you're going to yarn over, put it through the back loop, because you're kind of trying to make this ripple effect. That's why you're doing the back loops. Put it through the back loop, yarn over again, pull through, and you have 3. See that 3? Then you're going to yarn over again, only pull through 2, and you still have 2 on there. Then you're going to yarn over again, pull through those last 2s. So it goes boom, boom. So it makes it like, let's show you. See how the middle like that kind of goes like a mask? So that half double, or the double crochet in the middle, kind of gives it that texture. So then you just follow the patterns and you do 6, and you just keep going like that. And then at the end of each row, make sure that you chain 1, and then you start over and you do it for 11 rows. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make the minion eye in the middle. So you're going to get a white yarn, and you can use an eye hook. Sometimes I do a J hook because it's bigger, and the bigger the hook is, the bigger the stitches. So it gets it done, it gets the job done. So I do an eye hook, and this is called a magic loop. So it took me about a year to learn. So I take the yarn and I wrap it around my hand twice like that. And then you kind of go on the outside of it. You hook it through, make sure the tail of that yarn is in the back. Then I always do a half double crochet magic loop because it gets the job done. Some people do single crochet. I think that's harder. So you see how that one string is right there? You got to keep that away. And then I do, see, I push that string right over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do 8. Typically, my circles are either 7 or 8, depending on what I'm feeling for that day. So that yarn right there, so you're going to kind of hold this kind of loosely, and that string that was there at the beginning, you're going to pull it, because look what it does. Makes it into a magic loop. So then I just go ahead and stick the hook into that beginning loop right there. Yarn over, pull it through both hooks. And I normally chain 1. And then when you're crocheting that first loop right there, since you already have that one chain one, that's already counted as a half double crochet. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 half double crochet in each stitch. So there's that 1, which you're only going to put 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 around now because you already used the 1. So then the rest of the 7, you're going to put 2 stitches, 2 half double crochet in each stitch around the circle. So you're going to do that all the way around. And I'm not sure if the picking way is faster or slower, but it's just what works for me. So you figure out whatever works for you. Maybe find some better experienced crocheters on YouTube, and you might be able to get the hang of it. I had to watch, my grandma refused to teach me how to crochet, so I would sit right in front of her until I taught myself. And then as I got older, I just started making up my own patterns, because each book is for right-handed people. But this pattern here you should be able to use it if you're left-handed or right-handed. It's pretty straightforward. So you're going to do this till you're all the way around. And what you're going to do, once you're back to that first half double crochet, you're going to stick the hook right into the top, pull the yarn through, and then, you're going to do another row. But instead, you're going to go ahead and do 1 in the first row, then do 1 in the next row, and then you do 2 in the third row. Then in the fourth row, you're going to do 1, and then the next row, you're going to do 2. So you're going to go all the way around the eyeball and do that, just like that. Just 1, then 2, 1, then 2. And that makes it so it doesn't, it's not going to curl up. You don't want it to curl up, you want it to be flat. So I'm going to do this, and I'll show you how to do the gray on the side to make it look like glasses. Okay, so I'm finished with the circle, the eye. So what I'm going to do now is take a gray yarn for the glasses and just change it by yarning it over and then pulling it through. Did that make sense? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to work in the, I think these are the front loops. So I'm going to work in the front loops. See how there's 2 loops right there? I'm going to put this through the front loop. And since this tends to be kind of, so I am going to just do a half double crochet in every single loop, front loop, like the top one. So on the side, you'll notice there's 2 loops. It's kind of hard to see there. So you're going to half double crochet all the way around. And then when you are done, let me do this really quick. Half double crochet. I already made the middle eyeball. So what I did with that is I made a magic loop out of back yarn or black yarn. And instead of putting 8 half double crochets, if you are making any type of eyeball to put inside something, you're going to want to make less half double crochets than what you originally did. So since I did 8 for this, I did 6 for the eyeball. And I just closed it up, put a slip stitch right on top, closed it up, then took some white yarn and made this, like how the minion eyeball is. And then once I'm finished crocheting this around, I will attach the eyeball. And then once you finish putting all around, you'll just slip stitch and then tie it off. I have this thick embroidery hook that I use for my yarn or needle. I'm sorry, I'm giving you guys all the wrong words. A thick embroidery needle. And then I just kind of make it so you can't see all the yarn and neatly tie it off. And you're just going to go ahead and, position the eyeball, whatever funny minion way you want. Now, since the fabric is going to be placed on a bigger area than the actual eyeball, I'm going to sew the eyeball on first. And then after I'm finished with the eyeball, I'll go ahead and sew the fabric on. And then I'll go ahead, I have these. I used to make magnolia headbands way back in the day, big headbands. So these are just kind of nylon. So I will go ahead and stitch these on either side, just like this. And they're pretty comfortable. And we're gonna use these until I have some other elastic material that's coming in that the same elastic material that everyone else is using that's coming in soon. Also, a trick I wanted to tell you. If you are stitching on this eyeball and you want it to be more 3D, this is my secret for stitching. So you see how I put the yarn through already? I try to get it as close to the yarn as possible to go through, right? And so I have the needle go through as close to the white edge as possible. So when you do that, it will make the gray part of the glasses kind of pop out like it's 3D at the end. So I wanted to give you a trick on how to do that. Okay, so what I did is I stitched in the pocket. I don't have the best, I'm not a good sewer. I just crochet. And then with the nylon loops, I'm gonna show you what I did. For the top hook right here, I just take my crochet hook and actually do it the other way. So the back is facing you. And then I just pull this through. So it leaves a little bit out right there. And then I do the same for the other side. Let's see if I'm doing this right. I am not doing this right. Okay. So then I pull it from this side. Sorry. I kind of just wing this stuff when I make it. I'm not good at teaching. So then you have these two pieces right there, right? And at first I was using thread and a needle, but I don't do good with thread. So what I'm going to do is, or what I did on the other side, I just took yarn because it's nylon and I feel like yarn, it holds it in better. And I just stitch them in. That's kind of a big piece of yarn. You know, just put a few stitches in there. Make sure it's nice and secure. I kind of go overboard with stitching and making things are secure, making sure things are secure. I don't want things to fall apart. You know, like with my sleeves and now with these. So you just do that, you know, tie it off. And see, there's one right there. I'm going to do the same for the other side. It's already in there. And then since I'm going to be tying it off on this side, I put the stitch in through the back side to the front. And then I just go through a few times. Now this sleeve, since my kids are going to use it, I will try it on and show it to you. But for the other sleeves, I would suggest if you're making these, they're not medical grade at all. So it's not guaranteed that this is going to protect you. You know, make sure you practice hand washing and all that other good stuff. But I thought that these would be fun. And I have a friend that works in the NICU. For her to give these to the parents who have children in the NICU and who have older children at home. So when the babies come home, they can wear something that's not as scary as a medical mask. They can wear this. So both sides are stitched in. I have a pocket, you know, so you could put in like a paper towel and then just wear it. Just like that. Well, thank you for coming.